Hello friends. If you were born on March 25th, you carry an energy that is anything but ordinary. Your date of birth places you firmly in the sign of Aries, the fiery pioneer of the Zodiac ruled by Mars. But beyond the familiar traits of Aries lies a rich tapestry of influences: numerology, Celtic Druid wisdom, Vedic astrology, symbolic flowers, and even the resonance of gemstones. To truly understand the people of March 25th, we need to step into all these layers: love, marriage, sexuality, friendship, business, hidden shadows, and life goals. So let's peel back the veil and see what destiny whispers to those born on this day. The flame of love. In love, those born on March 25th are like a sudden sunrise bursting over the horizon. There is no gentle dawn, no slow fade of light, only brilliance that arrives all at once. Their love is not a quiet ember that grows little by little. It is a bonfire from the very first spark, a blaze that demands attention, warmth, and devotion. When they fall in love, it happens fast, almost recklessly, because hesitation feels unnatural to them. They trust their instincts, they trust the pull of attraction, and they believe that to deny the heart's urgency is to deny life itself. Waiting months to confess their feelings feels tortuous, almost dishonest, because when their emotions awaken, they are already full and complete, ready to be shared. This immediate intensity makes their affection impossible to ignore. When a March 25th soul decides they are in love, they will say it, show it, and embody it with every ounce of their being. They shower their partner with attention, with passion, with the kind of energy that can lift another person out of gloom and into vitality. They become the lover who sends texts at midnight just to say they are thinking of you, the one who makes grand gestures even in the smallest moments, who remembers the details others forget because to them, love is always alive and present. Their romance is fire not just in words but in deeds, and they live for the rush of making their beloved feel extraordinary. But this intensity is not always easy for others to receive. For someone unprepared, it can feel overwhelming, like trying to sip water from a waterfall. March 25th lovers rarely measure their passion. They pour it out unfiltered, expecting that the other person will embrace the flood. Sometimes this results in misunderstandings, because not everyone can keep pace with such immediacy. They may find themselves heartbroken by those who needed more time, more caution, or more distance than they were willing to give. For this reason, one of their lifelong lessons in love is learning the art of patience, not to extinguish their fire, but to understand that sometimes the flame must burn at a steady pace if it is to last. Despite their impatience, these individuals have a gift: the ability to awaken hearts. Even those who thought themselves too guarded, too scarred, or too jaded can find their defenses melting in the presence of a March 25th lover. Their energy is contagious, their enthusiasm irresistible, their belief in love unshakable. They can remind someone what it feels like to be wanted so fully, so completely, that doubt is silenced and joy takes over. In this way, they heal through passion, offering warmth to those who thought they'd never feel fire again. Yet there is a double edge to this gift. The same fire that brings light can also scorch. Their tendency to rush, to demand intensity, sometimes creates an atmosphere of pressure. Partners may feel like they must always be on, always exciting, always matching the energy of someone who lives in a constant state of ignition. If the beloved falls short, even slightly, the March 25th native may feel restless, unsatisfied, and eager to move forward. For them, boredom is a kind of death, and love must never grow stagnant. If it does, they will either try to rekindle it with furious energy or abandon it in search of another spark. But beneath this volcanic surface lies a surprising softness. Few realize that the fire of March 25th conceals a core of tenderness, even vulnerability. They may seem unstoppable, but what they truly crave is not endless excitement alone. It is a companion who sees their inner world, who believes in their wildest dreams, and who whispers, "I know you can do this," when doubt sneaks in. They want a love that fuels their ambitions rather than cages them, someone who doesn't fear their passion but fans it, who doesn't try to control their freedom but walks beside it. In their heart, they are not searching for someone to tame them but for someone to join them in the adventure. For this reason, the most successful relationships for March 25th souls are built not on routine comfort but on shared purpose. They flourish when love feels like a grand journey, when both partners are explorers, risk-takers, and dreamers. To them, romance is not just candlelit dinners and quiet evenings, though they enjoy those moments too. It is road trips into the unknown, late-night talks about the future, bold plans hatched over coffee, and the electric thrill of trying new things together. Love, in their eyes, must move, must expand, must breathe. Anything less feels like suffocation. At the same time, they possess an unexpected loyalty. While their fiery nature might suggest they would constantly chase new thrills, the truth is that once they find someone who embodies adventure and tenderness in balance, they hold on fiercely. They may leap from passion to passion in their youth, but as they mature, they begin to realize that the deepest adventure lies not in changing partners but in deepening connection. They discover that even within a long-term relationship, there are endless layers to explore, endless new versions of each other to fall in love with. When this realization takes root, their love becomes not only fiery but enduring, a flame that no storm can extinguish. Ultimately, the love life of those born on March 25th is a dance between fire and softness, urgency and patience, independence and partnership. Their challenge is not to dim their intensity, because it is their greatest gift, but to learn how to direct it wisely, so that their passion builds rather than burns. When they succeed, their love becomes one of the most powerful forces in the zodiac. A light that inspires, a fire that warms, and an adventure that never truly ends. Marriage, a test of growth. For those born on March 25th, marriage is never about slowing down, never about retreating into a quiet corner of domestic life, and certainly never about the cliché of settling down. Instead, it is a continuation of their natural rhythm of movement, discovery, and personal evolution. When they marry, they are not looking for a place of rest, they are looking for a partner who can keep stride with them on life's long road. To them, marriage is not a static arrangement, it is a living, breathing, constantly evolving bond that demands growth, creativity, and renewal. In the early stages of marriage, the March 25th soul brings with them a whirlwind of energy. They want to experience everything, share everything, and make their new life together feel like an epic beginning rather than an end. Their spouse may feel as though they've been swept into a grand adventure, full of surprises, laughter, and plans that come at lightning speed. This can be intoxicating, few things compare to the exhilaration of being married to someone whose enthusiasm is so contagious. But it can also be challenging, because stability and predictability, which many people crave in marriage, do not always come naturally to the March 25th personality. Freedom is their oxygen, and within marriage, they demand space to breathe, create, and pursue their individuality. They do not tolerate possessiveness well, nor do they respond to jealousy or attempts at control. To them, marriage is not about ownership, it is about partnership. They want a spouse who respects their independence, not one who questions it at every turn. When their freedom is honored, they return that trust with immense loyalty. When it is stifled, however, they may begin to pull away, sometimes emotionally, sometimes physically. They need to feel that within the walls of marriage, they are still free to roam, to dream, to evolve. The happiest marriages for March 25th natives are those in which both partners maintain a strong sense of individuality while simultaneously building a shared vision. They believe deeply that love should never mean losing oneself, and they admire most in a spouse the ability to stand as an equal, confident, self-sufficient, and unafraid to challenge them. They thrive on being with someone who has their own passions, their own friends, their own goals. To them, the healthiest union is one where both partners are complete on their own but choose to walk together, each adding strength to the other's journey. When paired with a partner who is too passive, frustration sets in quickly. The March 25th native does not want to drag their spouse through life. They want to stride beside someone who keeps pace, who pushes them forward, who says, "Let's go higher." On the other hand, if their partner is too combative, always trying to outshine or compete, the marriage can become a battlefield rather than a sanctuary. While they appreciate a challenge, they do not want every day to feel like a contest. Balance is key. The ideal spouse is one who is confident enough to stand tall, encouraging enough to inspire, and unpredictable enough to keep the relationship fresh without tipping it into chaos. Communication plays a critical role in their marital success. Because they are impulsive by nature, they may sometimes speak without thinking, leaving behind words that sting. They may also act on emotion before reason, sparking arguments that could have been avoided. Learning to pause, to listen, and to temper their fire with patience is essential. When they master this skill, they transform into extraordinary partners, open, passionate, and willing to adapt for the sake of love. But when they resist this growth, their marriages can suffer from instability, as their impulsive actions create unnecessary turbulence. Another dimension of marriage for these souls lies in renewal. They cannot bear stagnation. If the relationship becomes too routine, they will feel trapped, and their restless spirit will start seeking stimulation elsewhere, sometimes in hobbies, sometimes in work, sometimes in other people. To prevent this, their marriages must allow room for novelty, new projects together, spontaneous trips, shared learning, or even simply changing routines to keep the bond alive. For them, the marriage vow is not just a promise to stay, it is a promise to keep discovering each other, over and over, through the years. Yet, despite their fiery nature, there is a tenderness to the way March 25th people approach long-term union. They are not immune to the idea of home, of comfort, of quiet intimacy. What they resist is not stillness itself, but stagnation without growth. If their spouse can provide both freedom and stability, both passion and calm, they will settle into marriage not as a prison, but as the truest form of partnership. They may be impulsive, but they are also capable of immense devotion once they find someone who truly sees them. Their loyalty, though hard-won, is unwavering, and when they decide to stay, they stay with every ounce of themselves. Over time, many of these individuals discover that marriage itself is one of their greatest teachers. It teaches them patience, empathy, and the discipline of building something lasting. They may enter marriage with the belief that it is simply another adventure, but they soon realize it is more than that. It is a test of balance, a lesson in compromise, and an opportunity to grow in ways they never imagined. For them, love within marriage becomes not just about excitement but about resilience, not just about passion but about endurance. And when they learn to blend their natural fire with steadiness, they create unions that are both dynamic and lasting, filled with joy, laughter, and the courage to face life's storms together. For March 25th souls, marriage is never easy, but it is always transformative. It asks them to bring their brightest qualities, courage, enthusiasm, and passion, while taming their shadows of impatience and impulsivity. In doing so, they discover that marriage is not the end of adventure, but the beginning of the greatest one of all, the lifelong adventure of growing side by side with another human being, learning to love not just in the fire of passion, but in the quiet, steady warmth that follows. Sexuality, fire in motion. For those born on March 25th, sexuality is not simply a private act or an occasional indulgence, it is an elemental force, as natural and powerful to them as fire itself. Mars, their ruling planet, infuses their very being with raw vitality, charging them with a sense of urgency and hunger that few others can match. This desire is not limited to the physical body. It is an entire way of approaching life, an eagerness to feel, to connect, to push limits and discover what lies on the other side of boundaries. Sexual energy is one of their most defining traits, and for them, intimacy is never routine. It is always an exploration, an adventure, a dance between daring and devotion. The number tied to their birthday, 25, which reduces to 7, adds an almost mystical layer to their already dynamic nature. While Mars gives them the heat of passion, the vibration of 7 gives them curiosity and depth. They are not satisfied by the surface level of physical attraction alone. They want to dive into the psychological and even spiritual dimensions of intimacy. This dual influence creates a lover who is experimental, always ready to try new things, and never content to let passion stagnate. They crave novelty not out of restlessness alone, but because for them, Sexual connection is a place where two souls can evolve together, shedding limitations and discovering new truths about each other. Being with a March 25th lover is never dull. They bring a combination of spontaneity, imagination, and intensity that can awaken their partner to aspects of themselves they never knew existed. They thrive on surprise, on breaking patterns, on making every encounter feel fresh and alive. A quiet, predictable rhythm in intimacy does not suit them. They want to feel the rush, the electricity, the sense that each moment could change everything. They are the ones who whisper new ideas, who invite their partner to step outside the comfort zone, who see intimacy as a grand experiment in passion and trust. Yet their sexuality is not only about physical gratification. For them, sex is both body and soul, both sensation and meaning. They seek connection that goes deeper than skin, believing that true passion is born when desire and emotion merge. In their most fulfilling relationships, intimacy becomes a sacred space, where vulnerability is not feared but embraced, where secrets can be shared without judgment, and where both partners feel safe enough to express every shade of themselves. This blend of Mars heat and the number 7's introspection makes them capable of turning sex into a transformative experience, a fusion of ecstasy and intimacy that leaves a lasting mark on both people. But such intensity comes with its challenges. Their hunger for passion can sometimes blur the line between desire and love. They may fall into the trap of mistaking raw physical attraction for a deeper emotional bond, believing that the spark of chemistry is enough to sustain a relationship. When the fire cools, as it inevitably does without emotional roots, they may feel restless, disappointed, or even betrayed by their own expectations. This is where their greatest lesson lies, learning that while passion ignites, it is patience and tenderness that sustain. They must also confront their tendency toward impulsivity. Their eagerness to explore can sometimes outpace their partner's comfort, leaving the other person feeling pressured or overwhelmed. Balance becomes crucial. When they slow down enough to listen, to feel, to match their partner's rhythm, their natural fire becomes even more powerful. By combining their adventurous spirit with sensitivity, they transform from passionate lovers into truly unforgettable ones. In their most mature expression, March 25th individuals understand that intimacy is a journey, not a race. They come to see that the moments of quiet closeness, the lingering touch, the shared laughter, the long gaze across a room, can be just as electric as the most daring experiment. When they reach this level of awareness, their sexuality becomes not just a fire in motion, but a steady flame that warms and illuminates. Their relationships become richer, deeper, and infinitely more satisfying, because they finally understand that passion and patience are not opposites, but partners in creating lasting desire. Friendship, warriors of loyalty. If love and sexuality are the flames of March 25th, then friendship is the armor they wear into the world. Those born on this day approach friendship with the same vitality and intensity that defines every part of their personality. They are dynamic, witty, and endlessly entertaining companions, the ones who can turn an ordinary evening into an adventure. If you're stuck in a rut, they're the ones who will drag you out of the house with a grin, insisting that life is too short to waste on hesitation. Their presence is magnetic. They bring energy into any group, sparking conversations, laughter, and a sense that something exciting is about to happen. They thrive in circles where ideas flow freely and where spontaneity is welcomed rather than resisted. Group activities suit them perfectly, as they love being surrounded by people, absorbing different energies, and feeding off the momentum of a lively crowd. Whether it's organizing a road trip, jumping into a last-minute gathering, or initiating a spirited debate that stretches late into the night, March 25th people know how to keep the flame of friendship burning bright. But what kind of friends are they really, beyond the fun and the laughter? At their core, they are fiercely loyal. Once they consider you part of their inner circle, their tribe, you can trust that they will stand by you through thick and thin. They are warriors of loyalty, ready to defend you against criticism, to encourage you when you doubt yourself, and to celebrate your victories as if they were their own. Betrayal, however, is one thing they cannot tolerate. If a friend breaks their trust, the wound cuts deep, and though forgiveness may eventually come, it is never quick. They guard their inner circle carefully, preferring a few deep, unshakable bonds over a large network of shallow acquaintances. There is, however, a paradox in their friendships. While they are devoted and protective, they also have moments when they withdraw, sometimes disappearing without warning. This is not because they care less, but because when their own life becomes chaotic, they often retreat to handle their struggles privately. Friends who understand this pattern and give them space without resentment will be rewarded with even stronger loyalty when they return. Those who misinterpret it as neglect may never grasp the depth of their commitment. Their humor, quick wit, and fearless honesty make them the kind of friends who always say what others are afraid to. Sometimes this bluntness can sting, but it comes from a place of authenticity rather than malice. They dislike pretense and prefer friendships built on truth, even if the truth is uncomfortable. This makes them invaluable during tough times, because you can count on them to tell you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. At their best, March 25th people are the friends who light up your life, full of joy, courage, and encouragement. At their worst, they may be restless or distracted, their intensity turning inward as they wrestle with their own battles. But through it all, their loyalty remains their defining trait. If you were lucky enough to be chosen as part of their inner circle, you will never walk alone, because they will always fight for you, defend you, and remind you of your own strength. Friendship with them is not a casual affair, it is a bond forged in fire, tested in storms, and unbreakable once formed. Business and career, the entrepreneurial flame. For those born on March 25th, business and career are never just about earning a paycheck, they are about expression, adventure, and the chance to bring bold visions into reality. Their Mars-driven spirit makes them restless in environments that feel stagnant, where routines repeat endlessly, and where creativity is stifled. Sitting behind a desk in a predictable, rule-bound office environment feels like a cage for their vibrant energy. They are natural pioneers, innovators who thrive in the wilderness of the unknown, where risks exist but so do the rewards of discovery. To them, the thrill of the chase, the act of building something out of nothing, is far more appealing than simply maintaining what already exists. This entrepreneurial flame pushes them to create, to lead, and to explore fields where originality and courage are essential. Many March 25th individuals become entrepreneurs because they cannot tolerate being confined by someone else's blueprint. They want to set the tone, chart the course, and take the responsibility for both triumphs and failures. Their entrepreneurial ventures often shine with creativity and daring, as they are not afraid to pursue unusual ideas that others might dismiss. Where someone else sees risk, they see opportunity. Where others hesitate, they leap. This daring quality, while sometimes dangerous, is also what sets them apart in industries like technology, entertainment, sports, politics, or any field that rewards bold initiative. Charisma plays a key role in their professional lives. These individuals have a way of lighting up a room, inspiring teams, and winning allies to their cause. Their passion is magnetic, and people naturally want to follow their lead. This makes them effective not only as entrepreneurs but also as leaders within organizations. Even if they are not at the very top, they often rise quickly because their enthusiasm, coupled with courage, sets them apart. Subordinates admire their bravery, while peers respect their confidence, even if they sometimes find them overwhelming. But this flame is not without its shadows. Their impulsive nature can cause them to leap into ventures before considering the consequences. They may launch projects with spectacular energy only to abandon them halfway through when the excitement fades or when obstacles become too frustrating. This lack of consistency can undermine their credibility if left unchecked. While their ability to start strong is remarkable, their long-term success depends on cultivating the patience to finish what they begin. Strategic planning, though not as thrilling as spontaneous action, becomes their greatest ally. Another challenge lies in their tendency to mistake movement for progress. Because they dislike stagnation, they are constantly in motion, pursuing new opportunities, new deals, new ideas. But sometimes, this frenetic activity does not translate into real advancement. Without discipline, they risk scattering their energy across too many ventures at once, never giving any single one the attention it deserves. Learning to focus, to prioritize, and to slow down long enough to build structure is essential if they are to achieve the financial success they are capable of. When they master this balance between passion and patience, their careers can reach extraordinary heights. With discipline, their natural fire becomes a guiding torch rather than a wildfire. They have the potential to be visionary leaders who change industries, create new paths, and leave behind legacies of innovation. Financial success is more than possible, it is almost inevitable when they harness their energy and combine it with strategy. Their destiny in business is not simply to follow but to lead, not just to manage but to inspire, not just to achieve personal wealth but to make an impact on the world around them. For them, work must never be only about survival, it must be about purpose. And when they align their careers with their passions, when they choose paths that allow freedom, creativity, and risk, they not only succeed, they thrive. The darker side. Every flame casts a shadow, and for March 25th, the very qualities that make them so vibrant can also create difficulties. Their impatience is one of their most challenging traits. They want results quickly, and when progress feels slow, they grow restless. This impatience can lead to impulsivity, pushing them to act without fully considering consequences. What begins as a spark of courage may sometimes erupt into recklessness, leaving behind broken plans, strained relationships, or unnecessary conflicts. Their fire can inspire, but it can also scorch. When frustrated, they may become argumentative, their words sharp and cutting, delivered with the same intensity as their passions. They are not always aware of the impact their fiery temper can have on others, and while they may cool down quickly, the wounds they leave in the moment can linger long after. Their restlessness makes it difficult for them to sit still, to wait, or to endure processes that require patience. This can show up in their work, their relationships, and even in their personal growth, as they sometimes abandon things just before they bear fruit. Another shadow is arrogance. Because they are confident and daring, they may at times slip into the belief that they know best, dismissing the advice or perspectives of others. This arrogance can isolate them if left unchecked, creating tension with colleagues, friends, or loved ones. While their boldness often leads them to success, their inability to recognize when they need help, or when they are wrong, can become a stumbling block. The lesson for them is humility, to understand that leadership does not mean domination, and that strength is not weakened by collaboration. Consistency is another struggle. Starting new projects excites them, finishing them often feels like drudgery. They are natural initiators, always eager for the adrenaline of a fresh idea, but they may lose momentum when the work becomes repetitive or less glamorous. This tendency can result in a trail of half-finished dreams, impressive beginnings without endings. Learning discipline and building routines may not come naturally to them, but it is exactly what balances their fiery nature. There is also the danger of restlessness turning into self-sabotage. When they do not feel stimulated, they may create drama unconsciously, stirring conflict or chasing risk simply to feel alive. While their intensity can inspire, it can also exhaust both themselves and those around them if it is not directed with care. Yet, these shadows are not curses, they are invitations to growth. The impatience that frustrates them can be transformed into drive when tempered with patience. The impulsivity that gets them into trouble can evolve into courage when paired with wisdom. The arrogance that distances them can become leadership when softened by humility. And the inconsistency that holds them back can be overcome through discipline, turning scattered energy into focused brilliance. Ultimately, the darker side of March 25th is simply the unrefined version of their greatest gifts. When they learn balance, their fire does not destroy, it illuminates. When they cultivate self-awareness, their restlessness becomes exploration, their passion becomes inspiration, and their confidence becomes the guiding force that empowers not only themselves but everyone fortunate enough to share their journey. Life goals. For those born on March 25th, life is not about blending into the background or quietly following paths already laid out by others. It is about stepping forward with courage and carving their own trail, even if that trail is steep, untamed, and uncertain. Their soul does not yearn for comfort above all else, it yearns for purpose. These individuals are here not simply to exist but to ignite, to awaken others with their fire, to remind people that passion and bravery can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Every March 25th native carries within them a spark of leadership, a restless push that says, there's more to be discovered, more to be created, more to be lived. At the core of their life goals is the desire to inspire. They are not content with personal victories alone. They want their victories to echo, to ripple outward and affect the lives of others. Whether through their careers, their art, or their relationships, they instinctively aim to make an impact. Leadership often becomes a natural theme in their lives, even if they never set out to claim the spotlight. Their boldness draws eyes to them, their energy motivates others to move, and their determination becomes a living example of what can happen when one refuses to accept limitations. Their journey, however, is rarely simple. The universe seems to test them often, offering challenges that demand resilience, setbacks that require courage, and moments of doubt that push them to strengthen their faith in themselves. These trials are not accidents, they are part of the curriculum of their soul. For March 25th people, success is never handed on a silver platter. Instead, they must fight for it, sweat for it, sometimes fall hard and rise again even stronger. But through this struggle, they develop not only personal achievement but also the wisdom and empathy to guide others through their own battles. Self-discovery plays an equally important role in their mission. While they are often focused on external goals, projects, dreams, adventures, they eventually learn that the greatest exploration is inward. Their fiery energy must be balanced with understanding of who they truly are, what values they stand for, and how they want to use their talents. Many March 25th individuals discover, sometimes later in life, that their greatest goal is not just to conquer the outer world but to master the inner one. When they align their external ambitions with their internal truth, they reach a level of fulfillment that nothing else can match. Contribution is another pillar of their destiny. These are not people meant to live only for themselves. Their lives shine brightest when they are part of something bigger. This may mean starting movements, building communities, mentoring others, or using their talents to uplift those in need. Even if their careers are focused on personal success, there is usually a deeper motivation driving them, the belief that their work can change the landscape around them. This sense of legacy, of leaving something meaningful behind, is what ultimately gives them peace. Their goals are not small, nor should they be. They are the dreamers who refuse to settle, the fighters who refuse to give up, the leaders who inspire others to rise. And while their path may be filled with trials, it is also filled with victories that feel larger than life. Their mission is not to walk the easy road but to blaze new ones, not to be content with safety but to chase greatness, not just for themselves but for the world that watches them. For them, life goals are not boxes to check off a list. They are living, evolving challenges, adventures that constantly call them to grow, expand, and elevate others. And in the end, when they look back on their journey, the true measure of their success will not be in wealth or accolades but in how many people they inspired to believe in themselves, to fight for their dreams, and to live life with the same fiery courage that defines March 25th. Zodiac compatibility. Compatibility for March 25th people is not a simple equation of signs. It is a dance of energy, rhythm, and fire. Their Aries nature makes them passionate, impulsive, and adventurous, and so they naturally thrive in relationships with partners who can match their vitality, challenge their restless spirit, and keep life exciting. Yet the stars also reveal lessons in the signs that clash with them, teaching patience, compromise, and the art of balancing extremes. Their best matches often come from fire and air signs, those who share their enthusiasm for life and their refusal to live in monotony. Leo, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Aquarius are the companions most likely to understand their hunger for movement and discovery. With Leo, there is a fiery connection built on mutual admiration and bold energy. Both signs love excitement, passion, and being in the spotlight, making this pair a power couple in every sense. Sagittarius brings freedom, adventure, and laughter, matching Aries stride for stride in a journey that never grows stale. Gemini offers quick wit, conversation, and flexibility, turning love into a game of endless ideas and exploration. Aquarius adds originality and vision, inspiring March 25th natives to think outside themselves and build dreams that stretch into the future. These matches not only excite them but also encourage their growth, giving them both passion and partnership in equal measure. But not every connection flows so easily. Cancer, Capricorn, and Virgo can be challenging partners for March 25th souls. Cancer, with its deep sensitivity and need for emotional security, may find Aries too reckless, too fiery, too quick to leap without thinking. Aries, in turn, may feel smothered by Cancer's cautiousness. Capricorn, grounded and disciplined, may struggle to understand Aries' impulsive nature, while Aries may grow frustrated with Capricorn's need for structure and long-term planning. Virgo, analytical and detail-oriented, may find Aries chaotic and impatient, while Aries may feel criticized or restrained by Virgo's constant need for order. These pairings are not impossible, but they require significant effort, compromise, and mutual respect to thrive. Surprising matches can often yield the most fascinating results. Libra, the opposite sign of Aries, offers balance, harmony, and an energy that can temper Aries' impulsivity with grace. Libra's calm diplomacy can soothe Aries' fiery temper, while Aries brings passion and drive to Libra's more measured world. Scorpio, meanwhile, adds intensity of another kind. With Scorpio, Aries finds a partner equally passionate, equally driven, and equally unwilling to settle for anything less than all-consuming connection. This relationship can be a thrilling dance of power and desire, but it also carries the risk of volatility if egos clash too strongly. Ultimately, compatibility for March 25th individuals is not just about signs on paper, it is about the willingness of both partners to embrace the fire, to channel it constructively, and to keep the relationship alive with adventure, honesty, and respect. The stars may point to certain matches as easier or harder, but the truth is that for those born on this day, love is never about ease, it is about intensity, passion, and growth. And any sign, if willing to join them on that journey, can become the partner who helps turn their flame into a fire that lasts. Numerology, the power of 25. Being born on the 25th carries a numerological significance that adds a profound dimension to the already fiery Aries spirit. At first glance, Aries is all impulse, action, and the urge to move forward without hesitation. But the number 25, reducing to 7, weaves into this personality an entirely different current, one of depth, reflection, intuition, and mystery. It is as if the soul born on March 25th is not only destined to burn brightly like a flame but also to gaze into the embers of that fire and search for meaning beyond the heat. The number 7 is sacred across cultures and traditions. It is the number of wisdom seekers, philosophers, mystics, and visionaries. For the March 25th individual, this spiritual depth softens the blunt edges of Aries' impulsiveness. Unlike other Aries who might rush blindly into action, they possess a quiet undertone of contemplation that forces them to ask, "Why am I doing this? What purpose does this serve? What truth lies behind the surface?" This reflective quality gives them an edge not only in their personal lives but also in their careers and relationships, for it makes them not just doers, but thinkers, innovators who understand the power of aligning action with insight. Within the number 25 lies another layer of meaning. The 2 brings sensitivity, diplomacy, and the awareness of others. It makes them more attuned to relationships, more capable of cooperation, and more willing to understand perspectives outside their own. This balances the Aries' tendency towards self-centeredness, allowing them to connect with people on a deeper level. The 5 brings restlessness, curiosity, and adaptability. It feeds their adventurous nature, encouraging them to seek out experiences, to push boundaries, and to constantly reinvent themselves. Together, these numbers create a personality that is versatile, flexible, and deeply human, capable of being both fiery and empathetic, both restless and thoughtful. Their numerological journey often involves learning to trust their inner voice above all else. Because the number 7 vibrates with intuition, March 25th people frequently find themselves guided by gut feelings, dreams, or flashes of insight that come seemingly out of nowhere. When they listen, they find success. When they ignore it, they often stumble. This inner wisdom is their compass, but it requires faith. Too often, they may doubt themselves, leaning instead on external validation or the adrenaline rush of action. Their true path is about slowing down enough to recognize that their instincts are not random, they are the whisperings of a higher intelligence moving through them. When they master this, they become visionaries. They combine Aries' courage to act with the number 7's wisdom to see. They are not reckless leaders but enlightened ones, not impulsive wanderers but purposeful pioneers. Their numerology reveals that they are meant to bridge the gap between fire and water, action and reflection, physical drive and spiritual insight. It is this unique combination that allows them to shape the world in ways that others cannot, because they are not only focused on what is possible but also on what is meaningful. Celtic Druid Horoscope. In the Celtic and Druidic tree calendar, those born around March 25th find themselves under the influence of either the hazel or the alder tree, depending on exact alignment. Each of these trees carries a symbolic resonance that speaks to the duality of the March 25th soul, their intellect and their fire, their ability to think deeply and to act boldly. The hazel tree is sacred to the Druids as the tree of wisdom. It represents intuition, knowledge, and the sharpness of mind that cuts through confusion to uncover truth. People born under hazel carry an innate sense of insight, often appearing wiser than their years, as though they carry ancient knowledge in their bones. This wisdom is not just academic but intuitive, a knowing that arises in moments of silence or reflection. For the March 25th individual, hazel amplifies the influence of the number 7, strengthening their ability to analyze, to perceive patterns, and to seek meaning. It calls them to study, to observe, to listen, not only to the world around them but to the voice within. This influence balances Aries' impulsive fire, encouraging them to pause and consider before they leap. On the other hand, the alder tree symbolizes courage, leadership, and fiery determination. It is the warrior's tree, associated with passion, strength, and the ability to inspire others into action. Alder resonates strongly with the Aries core, highlighting the side of March 25th individuals that is bold, fearless, and willing to confront challenges head-on. The alder energy pushes them forward, gives them charisma, and infuses them with the kind of passion that can rally people to a cause. It emphasizes their natural drive to lead, to build, and to take risks where others would hesitate. Together, hazel and alder reveal the paradox and power of the March 25th soul. They are thinkers and doers, philosophers and warriors, visionaries and pioneers. The hazel influence urges them to seek wisdom and truth, while the alder pushes them to act with courage and conviction. When balanced, these dual energies make them unstoppable, capable of not only imagining bold futures but also bringing them into reality. But if the balance tilts too far, challenges arise. Too much hazel can lead to overthinking, hesitation, or withdrawal into the world of ideas without action. Too much alder can result in reckless decisions, arrogance, or a fiery temper unchecked by wisdom. Their task in life, according to the Druidic tradition, is to unite these forces, allowing hazel's insight to guide alder's fire, and alder's passion to bring hazel's wisdom into the world. In this union of trees, the March 25th native finds their deepest truth. They are not meant to be only scholars nor only warriors, they are meant to be both. Their destiny is to lead with wisdom, to act with insight, and to embody the harmony of intellect and fire. Like the sacred trees of the Druids, they are rooted in strength yet always reaching for the light, standing tall as symbols of growth, balance, and the living spirit of inspiration. Vedic Astrology. When we look at March 25th through the lens of Vedic astrology, the picture becomes even more layered and intricate than the Western perspective alone. According to the sidereal zodiac, which Vedic astrology uses, those born on this day often fall under Pisces or on the cusp between Pisces and Aries, depending on the precise year, time, and location of birth. This subtle shift changes everything, because it means that beneath the fiery impulsiveness of Aries lies the mystical current of Pisces, a sign that is spiritual, intuitive, and deeply connected to the unseen. The March 25th individual, therefore, is not just a warrior of action but also a dreamer with one foot in another world. Mars, the ruling planet of Aries, plays a central role in their Vedic chart. In Vedic tradition, Mars represents courage, drive, ambition, and the raw power to confront life head-on. It grants these individuals their bravery, their ability to take risks, and their refusal to settle for mediocrity. Yet the Piscean undertone tempers this aggression with compassion, imagination, and empathy. It is as if their soul is pulled in two directions, one toward fire, conquest, and achievement, and the other toward water, peace, and transcendence. This duality can be both a gift and a challenge. At their best, they use their strength to protect and uplift others, guided by an inner vision that feels almost divinely inspired. At their worst, they may feel torn, struggling between the need for victory and the yearning for inner peace. In Vedic philosophy, Pisces is the last sign of the Zodiac, symbolizing completion, endings, and the dissolution of the ego into something greater. For March 25th natives, carrying even a hint of Piscean influence means that they are not just starting things in this lifetime, they are also here to resolve karmic threads, to bring closure, to understand cycles. Their path is not only about building but also about integrating spiritual wisdom with earthly success. This can manifest in many ways. They may feel a natural draw to meditation, philosophy, healing practices, or creative endeavors that allow them to bridge the gap between the material and spiritual worlds. The placement of Mars in their chart further deepens the story. If Mars is strong and well aspected, these individuals become natural leaders, bold, energetic, and inspiring. But if Mars is afflicted, it can create volatility, impatience, or conflict, making it harder for them to channel their energy productively. The challenge here is to master Mars' fiery drive with discipline and compassion, something their Piscean influence actually helps them achieve if they listen to it. One fascinating element of their Vedic blueprint is how their destiny often involves service. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, spirituality, and expansion. Combined with Mars' fire, this suggests a soul that wants to fight not just for itself but for a higher cause. They may feel called to defend the vulnerable, to fight for justice, to build something meaningful that benefits others. Their dharma, or life purpose, often revolves around merging courage with compassion, leadership with humility, and ambition with spiritual awareness. Ultimately, Vedic astrology reveals that March 25th individuals are not just fiery Aries types, they are spiritual warriors. They carry within them a rare alchemy, the boldness to act when others hesitate, and the sensitivity to feel what others cannot. This balance of Mars and Pisces makes them pioneers not only in the outer world of achievement but also in the inner world of wisdom and compassion. The flower horoscope. The flower associated with March 25th is the magnolia, and its symbolism beautifully reflects the complexity of those born on this day. Magnolias are some of the oldest flowering plants on Earth, with fossils dating back millions of years. This ancient lineage gives them an aura of timelessness, endurance, and resilience, qualities mirrored in the souls of March 25th natives. To be compared with the magnolia is to be seen as both strong and graceful, as bold in presence yet delicate in spirit. Magnolias are renowned for their large, striking blossoms, which immediately capture attention. Similarly, people born on March 25th often command a room without even trying. There is something about their energy, confident, radiant, and alive, that makes others notice them. Like the magnolia bloom, they are not subtle in their beauty or their presence. They carry dignity, a sense of self-assurance, and an innate love for life that draws others toward them. Yet beneath this bold exterior lies softness. The magnolia, despite its grandeur, has petals that are gentle, velvety, and easily bruised. In the same way, March 25th individuals often protect a tender, vulnerable heart beneath their fiery confidence. They can be deeply sensitive, touched by beauty, moved by love, and hurt by betrayal more than they let on. Their strength is real, but so is their fragility, and the duality of these qualities is what makes them so compelling. Spiritually, the magnolia represents nobility and purity of intention. For March 25th natives, this symbolism aligns with their life path. They are not meant to live small lives, they are destined to live with grandeur, not in arrogance but in purpose. Their actions, when aligned with their higher selves, carry a noble quality that inspires others to rise above pettiness or fear. They are meant to remind the world of beauty, not only physical beauty but the beauty of courage, resilience, and spirit. The magnolia also signifies endurance. Its trees can live for centuries, weathering storms and seasons with quiet strength. Similarly, March 25th individuals often show an impressive ability to withstand challenges. They may stumble, they may fall, but like the magnolia tree, they root themselves deeply and rise again. Their lives are marked by phases of growth and renewal, and just like the flower that blooms magnificently after long dormancy, they have moments of brilliance that seem to come after hardship. In relationships, the magnolia energy highlights their combination of passion and grace. They love fiercely, boldly, without hesitation, like blossoms bursting into bloom. But they also carry elegance and loyalty, wanting to be admired not only for their fire but also for their tenderness. They embody the magnolia's message: true beauty is not just in appearances but in the strength to endure, the courage to bloom despite difficulties, and the softness that exists within strength. Ultimately, the magnolia as their flower is not accidental. It encapsulates their essence, the fiery Aries boldness combined with the Piscean undercurrent of grace, the resilience of a warrior combined with the tenderness of a dreamer. Like the magnolia tree standing tall through time, they are here to leave a legacy of strength, dignity, and beauty in the world. The stone horoscope. The gemstone associated with March 25th carries a symbolic weight that perfectly reflects the layered nature of these individuals. Traditionally, their birthday falls within the sphere of two powerful stones: the diamond, April's birthstone, and the bloodstone, Macha's stone. Each gemstone tells a different story, yet together they create a portrait of resilience, clarity, vitality, and courage. To understand the March 25th soul fully, one must look at both stones, for they are not merely decorative, they are mirrors of the spirit, amplifiers of destiny, and symbols of what lies within. The diamond has long been seen as the ultimate emblem of strength, invincibility, and brilliance. Its name comes from the Greek word adamas, meaning unconquerable or indestructible, and this is no coincidence. People born on March 25th often embody this same indomitable quality. No matter how many times they are tested, no matter how fierce the challenges they encounter, they have the power to endure and to rise again with even greater brilliance. The diamond's clarity also resonates deeply with their life path. Just as a diamond refracts light, scattering it into dazzling colors, March 25th individuals take the raw fire of Aries and channel it into inspiration for others. They shine, they lead, they capture attention not by accident but by nature. Their essence, like the diamond, is unbreakable and radiant. But to say that the diamond only symbolizes their strength would be an oversimplification. Its brilliance also reflects purity of purpose. For March 25th natives, this means that their greatest achievements come not when they chase selfish ambition but when they align their fire with a noble vision. A diamond is valued not only for its hardness but for its ability to reflect light flawlessly, and in the same way, these individuals are at their best when they become reflectors of truth, wisdom, and courage for others. Their fearlessness is not meant to intimidate but to inspire. Then comes the bloodstone, a gemstone deeply tied to vitality, courage, and the essence of life itself. Ancient warriors carried bloodstone as an amulet for protection, believing it gave them the strength to overcome enemies and endure wounds. For March 25th souls, this symbolism runs deep. The bloodstone infuses their fiery nature with raw physical energy, stamina, and the drive to keep moving even when the path grows difficult. It reinforces their role as natural warriors, not necessarily in the literal sense but in the way they confront challenges, defend what they believe in, and fight passionately for their dreams. Bloodstone is also linked with the circulation of energy and the flow of life force. For March 25th individuals, this means they thrive when they are active, dynamic, and engaged. Stillness often feels foreign to them, and life without challenge can feel stagnant. The Bloodstone's energy reflects this need for momentum, reminding them that movement is not just physical, it is spiritual. They are meant to be in motion, always evolving, always striving, always pushing forward into new territory. When we place the diamond and the Bloodstone together, we see the perfect reflection of March 25th's dual nature. The diamond embodies their clarity, their unshakable strength, their spiritual brilliance. The Bloodstone embodies their vitality, their courage, their drive to act. One is celestial, shining like starlight. The other is earthly, pulsing with the heartbeat of life. Together, they show us that March 25th natives are not only leaders and warriors but also visionaries and survivors. They shine above, yet they endure below. They inspire with brilliance but fight with raw energy. They are, in every sense, born to overcome obstacles and to emerge victorious, radiant, and strong. The hidden lesson. While their gemstones reveal incredible strength, the deeper lesson of the March 25th path lies in learning that true power is not about endless motion, but about balance. For these fiery souls, life often feels like a battlefield where the only option is to charge forward, to conquer, to keep burning with intensity. Yet the universe, through the lessons of their birthday, gently reminds them that even fire needs moments of stillness, even warriors need moments of reflection. The hidden lesson for those born on March 25th is that strength without wisdom is incomplete. To move without pausing is to risk burning out. To fight without reflecting is to risk fighting the wrong battles. Their journey is about discovering that sometimes the most courageous act is not the bold leap but the patient wait, not the roar but the silence that precedes it. When they learn to balance their natural passion with patience, their impulsive energy with measured thought, they transform from restless adventurers into unstoppable forces of creativity and leadership. This lesson often comes through trial and error. In youth, many March 25th individuals leap into projects, relationships, or adventures headfirst, only to find themselves disappointed or exhausted. These moments are not failures but teachings, signs that their spirit must learn to master itself. Over time, they come to realize that not every spark must become a wildfire, not every desire must be pursued immediately. The true art of their life is learning when to act and when to pause, when to fight and when to yield, when to burn brightly and when to rest in the quiet glow of their own light. When this balance is achieved, the results are extraordinary. They become visionaries who not only dream boldly but also manifest those dreams with precision. They become leaders who not only inspire with courage but also guide with wisdom. They become creators who not only ignite ideas but also nurture them to completion. Their fire, once reckless, becomes focused, a steady flame that lights the way for others. Ultimately, the hidden lesson of March 25th is that strength is not defined by constant forward motion. True invincibility is found in adaptability, in the ability to pause, reflect, and then move with clarity. The diamond shows them the brilliance of focused light. The Bloodstone shows them the endurance of flowing life. Together, they remind them that the greatest warriors are not only fearless but wise, not only passionate but patient. And when these individuals learn this balance, they step fully into their destiny as forces of inspiration, souls who shine brightly, endure deeply, and transform the world around them with their unstoppable fire. So, if you were born on March 25th, know this: you are a pioneer with a philosopher's soul. To be born on March 25th is to stand at the crossroads of fire and thought, of action and meaning, of passion and wisdom. Your soul did not choose this day by accident, it chose it because it carries within you both the daring spirit of the warrior and the contemplative heart of the sage. You are not here to simply pass through life, to follow the grooves carved by those before you. You are here to break new ground, to carve your own roads, and in doing so, to light the way for others who might have been too afraid to begin. This is your destiny, not to blend in, but to stand out, not to walk silently, but to march boldly, not to burn quietly, but to blaze like a torch in the darkness. And yet, within this fiery march lies a philosopher's soul, something rarer than most people recognize at first glance. Many see your confidence, your boldness, your willingness to take risks, and they assume you are only a creature of action. But beneath the surface, behind those restless eyes and daring steps, lies a mind that is always questioning, always searching for deeper truths. Why am I here? What does this mean? Where is this leading? These questions never leave you, because you are not satisfied with simple victories or shallow pleasures. You crave purpose. You crave understanding. You crave to make sense of the fire that burns within you. That is what makes you more than just an Aries. You are a philosopher in disguise, a seeker who uses the battlefield of life as your classroom. To say you are just living is to misunderstand you completely. You are not here for survival. You are here for creation. Every choice you make, every risk you take, every spark you ignite is part of a larger story that is not only about your own growth but about the impact you leave behind. You lead by example, sometimes consciously, sometimes without even realizing it. Your energy is contagious. Your courage pushes others to confront their own fears. Your determination reminds people that obstacles are not walls but stepping stones. Even when you stumble, and yes, you will stumble, your ability to rise again with greater strength teaches others that resilience is the truest form of power. You are not just a flame, you are illumination. The difference is profound. A flame consumes only for itself, burning brightly but briefly. Illumination transforms the flame into a gift, casting light outward, guiding, inspiring, lifting others from darkness. This is your higher calling, to let your natural fire become a source of warmth, clarity, and vision not only for you but for everyone who crosses your path. This is why people are drawn to you. This is why even your smallest acts seem larger than life. This is why, no matter where you go, eyes follow you, not because of arrogance, but because of the energy that radiates from you. But your greatest challenge is learning to temper this fire with wisdom. Fire without control can scorch. Passion without patience can destroy. Courage without thought can lead you into unnecessary battles. The universe has given you all the tools to succeed: the boldness of Aries, the depth of Numerology's 7, the wisdom of Hazel, the courage of Alder, the brilliance of Diamond, the vitality of Bloodstone, the grace of Magnolia, and the mystical undertones of Pisces in Vedic astrology. All these influences are not contradictions, they are guides, waiting for you to weave them into balance. When you learn to pause before leaping, to breathe before roaring, to reflect before charging, your fire becomes something extraordinary. It stops being a restless blaze and transforms into a steady, unshakable flame that others can trust, follow, and thrive under. You will notice that the more you balance passion with patience, the more doors open effortlessly, the more relationships deepen, the more your dreams manifest not as fleeting sparks but as lasting legacies. The truth is this: the world needs you. It needs your fire, your courage, your vision. But it also needs your wisdom, your heart, your depth. When you bring these together, when the pioneer and the philosopher finally embrace, you become unstoppable. You become not just a leader of action but a leader of meaning. You don't just climb mountains, you inspire entire generations to find their own. You don't just build, you build with purpose. You don't just shine, you illuminate. So, if you were born on March 25th, know this: you are not ordinary, you are not random, you are not here by chance. You are a force of nature, a spark of destiny, a living reminder that life is not meant to be endured but to be embraced with courage and curiosity. You are a pioneer with a philosopher's soul. You are here not just to live but to lead, not just to burn but to illuminate. And when you learn to temper your fire with wisdom, the world will not only follow your flame, it will thrive because of it.